They say you're too fat to love, Ruth Ann told me once. I was carrying 2 loaves of bread. I didn't drop them. I just smiled. I know how to cook, I said. She laughed. Men don't marry biscuits, Mary Lou. That's how things were in our town. Small people, small hearts. Abby, my best friend, tried to cheer me up. They're fools, she said. You're smart. You're strong, I shook my head. Strong don't pay bills, she leaned close. But maybe cooking does. I looked at her. What do you mean? Miss Penny needs a cook, she said. Hargrove Ranch, big job. Big pay, I raised my brow. Isn't that the ranch with the sick lady? Abby nodded. And a big mean cowboy who don't talk much. Eli Hargrove. I whispered. Yep, she said. They say he's tall as a barn. I blinked. Why me? Because he needs real food, she said. And you make the best biscuits. I laughed, but my chest hurt. You really think he'll take me? Abby touched my hand. I think you need a new beginning. That night, I sat by my small stove, holding my last jar of jam. I thought about Mama. She used to say, God gives each girl a gift. Yours is comfort. I packed my clothes, my recipe book, and my apron. That was all I had. Morning came too early. I walked through town with my bag. Miss Penny opened her door before I knocked. Morning, child, she said. Ready to ride? I think so, I said. She smiled. You look nervous. I don't know if he'll like me, I said softly. He doesn't need to like you, she said. He needs to eat, I laughed. That I can do. We rode in her wagon. The wheels creaked, and the wind was cold. The road was long, full of dust and silence. I watched the sky turn gray. It matched my heart. Why is he alone? I asked. Miss Penny sighed. His mother is sick. His brother ran off. His girl left him. Left him? I asked. Ran away with his brother, she said. Oh, I whispered. He's hard, she said, but not cruel. Just quiet. I looked down at my hands. They were red from work, chapped from bread making, not soft. Not pretty. Will he judge me? I asked. Miss Penny's eyes were kind. He don't care how you look. Just if you can cook. The ranch was big. Fences ran wide. The land was dry. We stopped near the porch. It was quiet. The front door opened. A tall man stepped out. He was huge, broad shoulders. Dusty hat, dark beard. Cold eyes, Eli Hargrove. He didn't speak. Miss Penny waved. This is Mary Lou. She's your new cook, he nodded. Kitchen's to the left. That was it. No welcome. No smile. I stepped down from the wagon, heart heavy as stone. He looked at me. Not long, just one glance. Then he turned away. I walked into the house. The kitchen was large but cold. Empty shelves. Dusty counters. This'll take work, I said. I took off my shawl, rolled up my sleeves. Miss Penny touched my shoulder. You'll be fine, girl. She left. I stood there alone in a stranger's kitchen with nothing but hope. I unpacked flour, eggs, sugar. My fingers moved without thinking. I made biscuits, soft, warm, just like Mama taught me. The smell filled the room. It smelled like home. Footsteps came behind me. I turned. Eli stood in the doorway. He didn't say a word. He just looked at the plate. Then he picked one up and took a bite. He nodded. I swallowed hard. Is it okay? He chewed. Then said, better than okay. I smiled. Maybe that was the start. Maybe I wasn't too big to dream. Maybe I was just enough. The sun burned low when I reached the Hargrove Ranch. My boots sank into the dirt road, my arms aching from the flour sack. A man stood by the fence. He looked carved from stone, tall, wide shoulders, coat dusty, hat pulled low. I stopped a few steps away. Sir, I said, my voice small. I'm Mary Lou Parker. Miss Penny sent me. He didn't move. Just looked at me with eyes the color of cold iron. You cook? He asked. Yes, sir. I do, he nodded once. Kitchen's that way, that was all. No welcome, no smile. I followed him. The ranch was quiet, too quiet. The air smelled of horses, hay, and something tired. Inside, the house felt old and sad. A broken chair by the wall. Dust on every table. I heard faint coughing from upstairs. Your mother? I asked. He paused by the stairs. Yeah, Martha, she's sick. Don't bother her, I nodded. He pointed toward the kitchen. Cook whatever you want. I don't care much what it is. Then he left. boots heavy, steps fading down the hall. I looked around. Pots rusted. Bread moldy. A mouse ran across the shelf. Well, I whispered. Home, sweet home, I started cleaning. Soap, water, and sweat. I lit the stove and unpacked my things. By the time I mixed dough, the sky outside was pink and fading. I made biscuits, beef stew, and black coffee. The smell filled the room like hope. The door opened behind me. Eli Hargrove walked in. He didn't say a word. Just stood there watching the table. His face looked carved in shadow, half hidden by the brim of his hat. Sit, sir, I said. It's hot. He sat. Picked up the spoon. The first bite made his jaw tighten. Then another, and another. Finally, he said, You made this? Yes, sir. He didn't look up. Good. That one word warmed more than the stove. He kept eating, slow and silent. I stood near the counter, pretending to clean. You live in town? He asked. Yes, sir. Near the river. He nodded again. People talk too much there. I smiled. They do. Mostly about people like me. He looked up then, eyes sharp. People like you? You know, I said quietly. Too fat to marry, too plain to matter, but good for work. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, People talk because they got empty lives. I blinked. That sounds like experience, sir. His lips almost twitched. Maybe. He finished his stew, stood and put his hat back on. Breakfast at 6. Don't be late. Yes, sir. When he left, the house felt even bigger. I cleaned the dishes, humming softly. The stove popped, sending sparks of orange light around the room. From the hall, I heard a man's laugh, rough, mean. A younger man stepped into the kitchen, drunk, holding a bottle. He looked like Eli, but smaller, weaker. Well now, he slurred. The new cook's pretty round, ain't she? I froze. He grinned. I'm Caleb, the brother. You got a name, sweetheart? Mary Lou, I said, my voice steady. Mary Lou, he repeated slowly. You look like you could feed an army. I clenched my fists. That's the plan, sir. Hungry men work better, he laughed loud. I like you already. Footsteps echoed behind him. Eli appeared in the doorway, his eyes darker than before. Go to bed, Caleb, Caleb sneered. Just saying hello. Go, Eli said again, voice low. Something in that tone made even the drunk brother back away. Caleb raised his hands, chuckling. Fine. Keep your fat cook to yourself. He stumbled out, bottle swinging. Eli looked at me. Don't mind him. I don't, I said softly, though my cheeks burned. He looked like he wanted to say more, but didn't. Lock the door when you're done. Yes. Sir. He turned to leave. Mr. Hargrove, I said suddenly. He stopped. I'll make breakfast early. Maybe you can bring your mother a plate. He nodded slowly. She don't eat much, but try. Then he was gone. I stood there, heart beating loud. The window showed his shadow moving across the yard. Big and heavy against the fading light, I whispered to myself. Cold eyes, but maybe a warm soul somewhere. I washed my hands. Looked around the kitchen one last time. It wasn't just a job anymore. It felt like a fight, not against hunger, but against silence. Tomorrow I'd cook again. Maybe he'd talk more. Maybe he wouldn't. Either way, I'd stay. Because sometimes a woman doesn't wait for love. Sometimes she just makes supper and lets love find its way home. The fire in the kitchen always calmed me. It cracked, soft, warm, and steady, like a friend who never judged. I liked that. Most days I worked quiet. I made stew, bread, and pie. Sometimes biscuits. Sometimes soup. Simple food, but made with care. Eli never said much. He came in, sat at the table, and ate. No smile, no thank you. Just that silence, but he finished every bite. And that said enough. One night I asked, Did you like the stew? He nodded once. It was good. That was the most he had said in 3 days. You want more? I asked. He shook his head. Full. I cleared his plate. As I walked past, I felt his eyes on me. I turned. Something wrong? No, he said, eyes still on mine. You're just quiet. I gave a small smile. So are you. He looked away, staring at the fire. I wanted to ask about his life, but didn't. Some walls are better left alone. Later that week, I was cleaning the pans when I heard boots. Caleb walked in, loud and smirking. His shirt was half-buttoned. He stank of drink. Well, look at that, he said. The fat cook is still here. I didn't answer. Not because I couldn't. but because I didn't need to. He walked closer. Tell me, sweetheart, what does a man like Eli want with you? I gripped the pot harder. Leave me alone, just asking. Ain't nothing wrong with asking. Eli walked in then. His coat was covered in dust. His hat low, he paused. Caleb. Brother? Caleb said with fake joy. Your cook's got a mouth. She told you to leave her alone. Caleb's smile dropped. Don't get soft now. Eli's voice changed, low, cold. Shut your mouth. Caleb stepped back, eyes wide. Eli didn't shout. He didn't move. But the fire in his words was real. I had never seen him angry before. Caleb muttered something and left. The door slammed. Silence again. I stood still, unsure. Eli looked at me. He won't bother you again. Thanks, I said, voice soft. But I can handle myself, he nodded. I know, I sat at the table. My hands were still shaking. Eli sat too. People say things. Doesn't make them true. I looked at the fire. He thinks I'm nothing. He's wrong. I turned to him. Do you think I'm weak? No. Do you think I'm ugly? He looked at me, really looked. No, my chest felt tight, like I couldn't breathe. He added, You work hard. You care, that matters, I blinked fast. I wasn't ready to cry. Not here, thank you, I said. Eli stood up. You should rest. I will, I said. He walked to the door, then paused. Good stew, he said again. Then he was gone. I sat by the fire a while longer. The flames whispered things no one else could say, that I mattered. That I was enough. That maybe, just maybe, I wasn't invisible anymore. I didn't plan to open it. I was dusting Eli's desk, just like Miss Penny asked. I cleaned the kitchen every day, but this room was quiet, cold, books stacked like walls. One drawer was stuck. I pulled gently. It opened. Inside was a single letter folded. The handwriting was neat. A woman's hand. I should have left it. But something pulled me. I unfolded it. Read the first line. You can't hide behind work forever, Eli, not after what you did. My hands went cold. I loved you once. But I couldn't stay. You shut the door too many times. You chose pain over us. I waited. You never came. I left with someone who opened the door. I stopped. My breath caught. Footsteps came behind me. I turned fast. Eli stood there. He didn't look mad. He looked tired. You found it, he said. I didn't mean to. He raised a hand. It's all right. I held the letter out. I didn't finish. Doesn't matter, he said. I remember every word. He walked past me and sat down slow. My fiancée, he said. Her name was Ruth. My mouth felt dry. I'm sorry. She left with my brother. I didn't speak. What could I say? He looked at the wall like it might talk. I worked all day. Thought it'd fix things. Work can't fix a broken heart, I whispered. No, he said. But I tried. I stepped closer. You loved her? Yes, he said. But I was cold. She said I made the house feel like a cage. She didn't tell you before she left? She did. In that letter. I sat across from him, folding my hands. She left it on the bed, he added. Why keep it? I asked. He gave a weak smile. To remind me of her. No. Of what I lost when I stopped listening. The silence sat heavy between us. I stared at the fire burning low in the hearth. I never had anyone to write me letters. I said, You should, he replied. You deserve more than this place. I'm not leaving, I said. Not yet. He looked straight at me then. Why? Because your mother needs me. Because I'm not scared of hard work. And because I know what it's like to be forgotten. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. You read one line. That was enough? Yes, I said. It said more than most folks say in a year, he nodded. It still hurts. It's supposed to, I said. If it meant anything, I thought the pain would stop. Pain doesn't stop, I said, but it changes shape. His eyes looked softer now. People judge what they see, I added, not what they don't. You think I judge you? He asked. No, but I think you judge yourself. He looked down at the letter again. Would you burn it? I asked. No, he said, but I might stop reading it. I stood up. My hands were steady now. You hungry? I asked. He smiled for the first time. Just a little, always, he said. I'll bring soup. And bread, he nodded. Thank you, Mary Lou. I turned at the door. We all have letters, I said. Some folks just write them in silence. Then I walked out, heart beating fast, not from fear, but from something else, something new, something warm. The wind started before sundown. I saw it in the sky. Clouds moved too fast. The color turned gray, then green. I ran inside. "Storm's coming," I told Eli. He looked up from the table. "Big one," I nodded. "Bad, real bad. Get the animals inside," he said. "Tie the barn doors." "I'll help," I told him. He didn't argue. He never did. Not with me. We stepped into the wind. It screamed like it hated us. I held my skirt down and hurried toward the pens. The cows were already restless. I could hear them cry. Eli grabbed ropes. "Start with the east gate," he shouted. "I got it," I yelled back. Rain came fast. Cold, hard, sharp like needles. I pulled the gate, but it stuck. "Kick it." Eli called out. I did. Once, twice, then it gave. The cows moved slow. "Come on, babies," I whispered. They listened. Somehow, maybe they knew. The wind tore a shingle off the roof. It flew past me. Eli yelled, "Go inside!" "No," I yelled back. "Not yet." He ran to me, coat soaked, face hard. "I told you. I'm not leaving you out here," I snapped. He stared at me like he didn't know what to say. Then he gave me a rope. Fine, we finished together. We worked without stopping. The barn doors slammed against the walls. One came loose. "The hinge flew! Duck!" Eli pulled me down. It missed my head by inches. My heart pounded so loud I couldn't hear the rain. We kept moving. My hands were red, raw. I tied one post, then moved to the next. Suddenly I slipped. The mud grabbed me. My ankle twisted. "Eli!" He turned fast. "Where are you?" "Here." He reached me in 3 steps, lifted me like I weighed nothing. "I'm sorry," I said. "Don't talk," he grunted. "Just hold on." I buried my face in his coat. It smelled like rain and firewood. He carried me inside the barn. The storm screamed louder behind us. He set me down near the feed bins. "Stay here," he said. "You're going back out?" "There's still more to save." "I'm coming too." He gave me that look. The one that said, "You're stubborn," but I stayed. I couldn't run anymore. I waited in the dark, rain pounding the roof. Then I saw it, the lamp. It was too close to the hay. I limped over. Moved it fast. The heat had already blackened the wood. "Stupid," I whispered. So stupid. When Eli came back, he was limping too. I helped him sit. We sat there in silence. His hair was soaked. His eyes were tired. "You didn't run," he said. "Why would I?" "Most people do." "I'm not most people," he looked at me. "Longer than before. Deeper. You saved that fire from starting," he said. "You saved me first." He gave a small smile. I don't smile. "Much," he said. I noticed. He laughed. "Just once. Short." Then he looked at the barn doors. "We lost some cattle. We saved more," I said. "I couldn't have done it. Alone. You didn't." He leaned his head back. I thought I didn't need anyone. He whispered. I didn't speak. I was wrong. He looked at me again. "You have more courage than any woman I've known." My throat felt tight. Wanted to say something smart, something kind, but my heart was too loud. So I just looked at him, and I didn't look away. The storm still raged outside, but inside, something new began. Something quiet, something warm, like the fire I saved. Maybe storms don't take everything. Maybe they leave something behind, like truth, like trust, like the start of something good. The wind was sharp that morning. I smelled dust before I saw the riders. Old Hank shouted from the fence, "Someone's coming!" Eli walked out of the barn. "Who?" he asked. I wiped my hands on my apron. "Maybe travelers?" Hank's face turned pale. "No, that's Caleb." My stomach dropped. I hadn't heard that name in weeks. Eli's brother, the one who broke him. They rode close, 3 men, all rough and loud. Caleb led them, his black hat tilted, his grin wide. "Well, brother," he called. "Still playing farmer?" Eli didn't move. "What do you want, Caleb?" "Just what's mine," Caleb said. He slid off his horse, boots hitting dust. Half the ranch, and maybe something more. His eyes turned toward me. I froze. "Who's the lady?" he asked. "Your new toy? Or just a cook?" Eli's jaw tightened. "She's not your concern," Caleb laughed. "Everything you touch becomes my concern." The other men dismounted, one holding a rifle. I saw the metal glint under the sun, I whispered. "Eli, please." Let's go inside. He said, no, this ends today. Caleb took a step forward. You took the land, Eli. You took Ma's love. You took the woman who should have been mine. Eli's eyes went dark. You lost all that yourself, liar. Caleb shouted. She loved me first. Eli's voice was steady. You mean May? She left us both. Caleb's smile turned thin. She came to me because you pushed her away. Always working, never feeling. I felt the words like stones. I didn't want to hear them, but the truth always comes dressed in pain. Leave now, Eli said. Before I make you, Caleb laughed again. You think you're still the hero? You're nothing but a fool hiding behind a fat cook in a dead mother's house. My heart pounded. I stepped forward. Stop it, Caleb looked at me, amused. Oh, she talks. Leave, I said. My voice trembled. You've heard him enough. He took one more step. You like him, huh? The giant with no heart. Eli moved fast then, grabbing Caleb's coat. Don't speak to her. The two of them stood chest to chest. I could smell sweat, rain, and anger. Caleb pushed him back. You think you can stop me? I know I can, Eli said quietly. One of the men raised his gun. Boss? He asked Caleb. Caleb nodded. Scare him a little. The gun fired into the ground. The sound tore the air apart. Horses neighed. Birds fled. My knees almost gave out. Eli shouted, You fire again! You die! The men froze. For a moment, nobody breathed. Caleb's voice softened. You'd shoot your own blood? If I have to, Eli said. I ran forward. Don't! Eli turned to me. Go inside, Mary Lou. No, I said. He'll kill you! Caleb sneered. Ain't she brave? You keep this one close, brother. She bleeds easy, he pointed the gun at me. Caleb! Eli shouted. The sky cracked with thunder, though the air was dry. Caleb's finger trembled on the trigger. Please, I said. You don't need to do this. He looked at me, eyes full of something broken. Not hate, maybe regret. You don't know what I lost. Then don't lose more, I said. Walk away. He lowered the gun for a second. Then one of his men shouted, Now! Everything happened too fast. The gun fired again. A flash, a scream. I smelled smoke. I fell. My hands hit the dirt. For a moment, I didn't know who was hit. When I looked up, Eli was on his knees. Blood spread across his shirt, dark and quick. Eli! I crawled to him. No, stay with me! He pressed a hand to his side. I'm fine, he said, but his voice was fading. Caleb dropped the gun. His face went pale. I didn't mean, get out, I screamed. The men backed away. Caleb stumbled. Mary Lou, go! I yelled again. Before I forget you're his blood, they ran. The dust swallowed them whole. I tore my apron, pressed it to Eli's wound. Blood soaked through fast. Stay awake, I said. Look at me, he tried to smile. You... Still bossy. Shut up, I said, crying. Don't talk, Mary, he whispered. Don't cry. You're brave, I shook my head. I'm not brave. I'm scared, he winced. Scared means you care. Old Hank ran up from the barn. Lord, what happened? Get Dr. Samuel, I shouted. Now! Hank ran off. Eli leaned back against me. His breathing was rough. You shouldn't have come out, he said. I couldn't hide. I whispered. Not when it's you. He tried to laugh, but it hurt. You're stubborn. You taught me that, I said. Rain started to fall, thin and cold. The wind carried the smell of iron. Eli looked up. He always ruins everything. Not this time, I said. You'll live. You hear me? He smiled weakly. If you say so, I held his hand. I do say so. His blood warmed my fingers. I pressed harder, praying without words. Dr. Samuel arrived at last. Move aside, girl, he said. Let me see. I did, but I didn't let go completely. Eli's hand stayed in mine. The doctor tore open his shirt. Bullet went through. He's lucky. Lucky? I whispered. Samuel nodded. Missed the lung. But he needs rest, I exhaled, shaking. Thank God Eli looked at me. Told you. I'm fine, I laughed through tears. Liar, he squeezed my hand. Stay? Always, I said. Outside, thunder rolled again, softer this time. The storm passed slow. The men were gone, but the blood stayed, on the floor, on my hands, in my heart. I looked at Eli's pale face and thought, he bled for this home. For me. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but I knew one thing. Caleb took the shot, but I took the pain, and I'd never forgive him for it. Dr. Samuel came out of the room. "He's alive," he said softly. My knees almost gave out. I grabbed the doorframe. "Alive?" He nodded. The bullet missed his heart. I pressed my hands together. "Thank God." He looked tired. "He needs rest. Keep him warm. Feed him soup." "I can do that," I said. When I stepped inside, Eli looked pale. His chest moved slow, but it moved. I sat beside the bed. "You stubborn man," I whispered. "You scared me." His eyes fluttered open. "You're still here," he murmured. "Where else would I go?" I said. He tried to smile. "You could go home." "This is my home," I answered. He turned his face away. "I don't deserve that." "You don't get to decide," I said. "You fought for me. Now I fight for you." He closed his eyes again. "I'm sorry," he said weakly. "For what?" "For the blood, the fear, the mess." I took his hand. "It's life, Eli, not a mess." The wind hit the window hard. I stirred the soup on the small fire. The smell filled the room, simple, warm, safe. When I lifted the spoon, my hands trembled. But the heat felt like life returning. He opened his eyes again. "What's that smell?" "Potato soup," I said. "Your favorite, I think." He smiled a little. "You think right." I helped him sit up. He hissed in pain. "Easy," I said. "Slow, don't be a hero." He chuckled softly. Too late for that. I fed him one spoon at a time. "You cook like my mother," he said. "She taught me," I replied. He blinked. "She never met you," I smiled. "Maybe love teaches us the same things." He stared at me. "You talk strange, Mary Lou. Strange good or strange bad?" "Strange. Honest," he said quietly. We didn't talk after that. Only the sound of the spoon, the fire, his breathing. Every small sound felt like music. Every breath felt like promise. At night I sat by the fire. Abby came by once with medicine. "You sure you can handle this?" she asked. "I need to," I said. "He needs someone," she nodded. "Then be brave." When she left, silence stayed. The lamp flickered. I watched Eli sleep, his hand open beside him. That hand had pulled me from storms, carried heavy wood, fought for me. Now it looked small, fragile. I touched his fingers lightly. "Don't leave again," I whispered. His lips moved. "You talk too much," I laughed through tears. "Then heal faster so you can stop me." Morning came slow and soft. The sky outside turned gold. I made breakfast, fed the chickens, washed his bandage. He watched me the whole time. "You don't rest," he said. "I will when you walk again," I said. He frowned. "You're wasting your time." "I don't waste love," I said. He stared at me, eyes wet. "Why me?" he asked. I set down the bowl. "Because you see me, Eli. You don't laugh at me like others." He shook his head. "I was cruel once." "Not to me," I said. "Not when it mattered." He reached for my hand. "Mary Lou, you don't have to stay." I met his gaze. "You're my home now." His lips trembled. "I don't deserve that kind of heart." "You don't have to deserve it," I said. "Just keep it safe." He looked away, breathing hard. Tears slid down his cheek. I wiped them gently. "You fight hard, Eli. Don't give up now." He smiled faintly. "You're fire, you know that?" "I just cook," I said softly. "Fire's all I have." Later I went outside. The sun felt warmer than before. Smoke rose from the kitchen chimney. I smelled the soup still bubbling. For the first time, I felt strong. Not because I was needed, but because I chose to stay. When I came back, Eli was awake again. "You're still here," he said. "I told you," I smiled. "You're stuck with me." He reached out, touched my hand again. Warm, solid, real. Maybe love wasn't a word. Maybe it was a touch, a spoon, a promise. And it burned gentle, like the fire in my hands. Eli sat on the porch, quiet as ever. The morning wind felt soft on my face. I wiped my hands on my apron. "Do you think she liked it?" I asked. He looked at the blue door. "She loved that color. I'm glad we painted it," he nodded. "She used to say, 'Blue means peace.'" I smiled. "She found peace, Eli." He didn't speak for a while. Just stared at the land, the sky, the road. "She liked your cooking," he said at last. "She was kind to me," I said. He nodded again. "She liked your voice too." Said it was warm. My chest ached in a quiet way. I stepped closer, hands folded in front. The door behind us shined like the sky. She made me feel welcome, I said. Even when the rest of the world didn't. He turned his eyes to me. I should have said thank you sooner. You don't need to, I whispered. I do. His voice cracked. You stayed, I nodded. I stayed because this feels like home. He stood up. His shadow covered mine. His hand reached out and found mine. Rough palm, warm fingers. I was blind, he said. I kept thinking love meant beauty. That love had a shape, a size, a mirror. I looked at the ground. So did I. I thought I needed to save someone. But you saved me first. Tears came without asking. I let them fall. His thumb brushed my cheek. You were the light, he said softly. I'm not perfect, I said. Neither am I, he said. We don't have to be. He leaned in. His lips touched mine, slow, steady, sure. Not like in books, better. When we pulled away, I breathed deep. The smell of horses, bread, and morning dust. Home. I want to paint the kitchen next, I said. What color? He asked. Maybe yellow. Something warm. Like fire, he smiled. Sounds right. Old Hank passed by with a bucket. He didn't say anything, just winked. I blushed and stepped back. Do you regret letting me in? I asked. Never, Eli said. I regret not opening the door sooner. We sat again, side by side. The porch creaked beneath us. The sky stretched wide and blue. You know, I said, I used to think I was too fat to be loved. He looked at me, eyes deep and kind. You're not too anything, he said. You're just enough. The wind moved my skirt gently. Birds flew over the barn. I'll make stew tonight, I said. Your mother liked that one, he nodded. She'd be happy. So am I squeezed his hand once more. Not too tight, just right. The blue door stood behind us, glowing in sunlight. Not just wood and paint, but a sign. A sign that this house, this ranch, could be something more than work and storms. It could be love, real love, not loud, not perfect, but true. I leaned my head on his shoulder. He didn't move. He didn't need to. I'm not going anywhere, I said. I know, he whispered, and for the first time in a long time I felt full. Not with food. Not with fear, with hope. I stood in the kitchen, wiping my hands. The window showed my reflection in the glass. My hair was messy. My cheeks were red from the heat. My apron had flour on it again. I smiled. Not a big smile. Just enough. I wasn't small, but I was strong. And today I felt enough. Mary Lou. Eli's voice came from the porch. Supper smells good. I called back. It should. I made it with love, he chuckled. Bring that love out here, I laughed softly. I finished slicing the cornbread. Steam rose from the stew pot. Warm smells filled the room. Garlic, pepper, home. I stepped outside with the tray. The sky was deep blue, stars just waking up. Eli sat on the porch, boots off, feet stretched out. You look tired, I said. Only my feet, he said. My heart feels light. I sat beside him. He took the tray, then my hand. Thank you, he said. For what? I asked. For staying, he said. For loving me when I couldn't love myself. I looked down at our hands. His was rough, mine round. Do you remember what I said when I first came here? I asked. You said you were here to cook, and? I asked, he thought. Then he whispered, You said, no one wants a fat girl, I nodded. I believed it back then. I didn't, he said. Not even for a second. You didn't even look at me at first, I said. I was scared to, he said. You were too good, I smiled, but my eyes stung. I thought I had to be thin to be loved, I whispered. He shook his head. No, you had to be brave. And you are. I looked at the stars. They blinked, just like my tears. I almost gave up once, I said. When? He asked. The day your brother called me a pig. He tensed beside me. I should have done more, he said. No, I said. You did enough. You saw me. No one ever saw me. Eli leaned over and kissed my cheek. Don't cry now, he said. You're my whole world, I laughed. You used to hate talking, I teased. You used to hate mirrors, he replied. We both chuckled. The porch light flickered. Moths danced around it like sparks. Do you love me? I asked. He didn't wait. I do. Every curve, every word, every meal you cook. I blushed hard. He kissed my hand. Then he picked up the spoon. Now let me love that stew, too, he grinned. I swatted his shoulder. You always ruin the moment. No, he said. I just make it sweeter. We ate in silence for a while. The wind was soft. The ranch was quiet, peaceful. I looked around. This was home. Not perfect, not grand, but real. Later, after the dishes were done, I walked back into the kitchen alone. The fire was low. I caught my reflection again, round face, soft arms, strong hands, and eyes full of life. I whispered, I am not too fat to love. I touched the window. I was just too kind to be seen before. And now? Now I was seen, and I was loved, not for being small, but for being real, for being me, and that was enough.